welcome back to Unpacking Love, or maybe I'm welcoming myself back to Unpacking Love. It's been a minute, and I do want to apologize for my silence. Thank you so much for being patient with me. To be honest, I was going through a phase of enjoyment and and recharging, but I am back. So thank you so much for sticking around. I'm going to jump right into it. I'm going to be continuing with the communication style series, and we're going to be talking about the passive aggressive communication style today. So that is actually a very close cousin and relative to the passive communication style and the aggressive communication style that we spoke about. And now when you put those two together, we get passive aggressive communication style. Ding, 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 ding. Which really it's nothing to be excited about because that's a very indirect way of communicating. So I'm going to start off with talking about what passive aggressive communication looks like, or defining what passive aggressive communication looks like. That style of communicating is an attempt to make your partner, because we're talking about relationships, make your partner aware that you have needs, but you're doing it in an indirect way. So instead of you going straight to the point with the person, your behavior is what's going to show this person that you're unhappy about whatever is going on. And so on the surface, when you look at the way that someone is communicating, you might think that they're exhibiting passive communication style behavior, but underneath the surface, they're actually very angry, or they could be feeling resentful, or they could be actually plotting revenge against this person that they're unhappy about, which is the part that makes this aggressive, and that then shows up through their actions. The person actually just wants to avoid conflict, and so what they might do is, you might be having a conversation with them and they're telling you what you want to hear, but ultimately that's actually not what they're thinking or what they're feeling. So in this next part, I'm going to share some examples of passive-aggressive behavior. The first one is one that a lot of people are probably very familiar with, and that is silent treatment. And that's when, it might be that you're texting your partner and your partner is just not responding to your texts at all. Or it could be that you're talking to your partner on the phone or in person, you're trying to have a conversation and they just continue to watch TV or continue to do whatever they're doing and they're just quiet. Right? That's like full-blown silent treatment. Or it could be that they are talking to you, but they're responding with one-word answers, or just, they're not very engaged in the conversation. You're asking them questions, they're just replying with that. They're not asking you anything, and it's just a one-sided conversation. So that is really not good, because here we're trying to promote healthy communication and healthy communication style. So it's not good, because at the end of the day, this person who's exhibiting this behavior is actually really upset or angry about something, but they're not vocalizing it. And so that leaves the other person in a very bad position, in the sense that sometimes they actually don't know what they've done, and now they have to play guesswork trying to figure out why their partner is upset, when the partner can just tell them what it is. So to anyone who's listening who does, show passive aggressive behavior, I'm just here to encourage you to not be giving people silent treatment. It really doesn't solve anything, because if you're with a partner, number one, who doesn't care that you're showing them silent treatment, they'll just leave you as you are and you just burn inside, right? Or if you are with a partner who cares, if you're quiet and you're not telling them that you're upset with them about something, then they might not even know that they did something wrong, and life might just continue on for them. So either way, you're not getting anything resolved. So it's just good for you to be able to communicate and to talk about it. Another example is the passive-aggressive communicator could just play dumb. So you're in the middle of a conversation, and at some point, maybe they just switch off. You're asking them questions and they're just acting like they have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. And I also think that with passive-aggressive communicators, they're actually not going to do the most. They're not going to be shouting at you, yelling at you. They'll be using such a cool, calm, and collected tone that you, as the person who's trying to communicate with them, will get frustrated, right? Because now this person is playing dumb, acting like they don't know what's going on when they actually know what's going on. Playing victim is another passive-aggressive behavior example, and this is going to be a bit drastic, right? But let's say that you have a rule for yourself that you only get into your bed after you've showered. You don't get into your bed with dirty clothes. Now, when your partner visits you, before they even sit on the couch, they look at you and they say, should I take a shower before I sit on the couch? So can you see that over exaggeration, where it's like, okay, you asked them that, okay, before you get into my bed, please just like make sure you've removed your outside clothes and you've showered. And now it's like they won't even sit on the couch unless they ask you if they should take a shower, right? Like kind of just over exaggerating situations. Another example is keeping score and wanting to pay you back for something that you did. And it could be that 3 months ago, your partner called you maybe 6, 7 times during the day, and maybe it was like a work day and you're super busy, you didn't get to be around your phone. At the end of that day, you found your phone and saw these missed calls, and you told your partner, hey, I'm so sorry, today was just so crazy, I didn't have my phone, right? On that day, in the moment that she explained, your passive aggressive partner was like, okay, no worries. Like, I'm not worried. Thanks for letting me know. Then 3 months later, the exact same thing happens, but it's the opposite. So you are trying to get hold of your partner, and you're calling them and you're calling them and you're unable to get a hold of them. Then at the end of the day, they could even copy and paste the exact same message that you told them. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was so busy. I didn't get to be around my phone. And that's passive aggressive behavior in the sense that this person intentionally, okay, in this case that I'm painting, this person intentionally wanted you to experience the same thing that they experienced when you did that to them. So I think there's a lot of like motive behind what they're doing, right? Like on the day that you did it, they were so angry, but to you, they played it off cool. But now they're like, aha, got you. There'll be a day when you're looking for me and you're going to feel the same way that I felt. One that's closely related to that is deflecting. So let's say you're bringing up something to your partner that you're unhappy about in the relationship. You bring it up to them, and instead of them addressing what's actually going on, they then say, well, okay, let's not act like you also don't have any issues. Like, I have issues with you, and then with da 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 da, and they list the things that you're doing wrong. So that's passive aggressive behavior, because now that I've come to you to kind of talk about things I'm unhappy about in the relationship, you're taking that as a chance to talk about things that you're unhappy about without addressing what I'm unhappy about first, right? So it's like you kind of waited for me to say this, and the moment I said it, you want to change topics and just kind of point in the direction of, okay, well, it's not like you are an angel either. And then the final example that I'll bring up is procrastination. And this could be passive aggressive behavior because the person really doesn't want to do what you've asked them to do. But instead of them telling you that they aren't able to do it for some reason, they don't want to do it. First of all, you can't force anyone to do anything. So let's say they don't want to do it, but they don't tell you that they don't want to do it, but then they drag their feet so much that you are going to end up doing the thing you were asking them to do. And that's another example of something that someone who's passive aggressive could do. At the end of the day, whether you're a passive communicator or you're an aggressive communicator or you're a passive aggressive communicator, you are trying to communicate things in a very indirect way. And that's not the best way to communicate and to get your point across to the other person. So where we're all aiming to get to, hopefully, is to be assertive communicators. And that is going to be in the next episode. Let me know what you guys think about this passive aggressive communication style. What is something that you've done if you're in a relationship with someone who exhibits passive aggressive behavior? Or if you're the person in the relationship who exhibits passive aggressive behavior, what are you doing to kind of help yourself to get into that assertive communication style bucket? That's it from me, guys. Thanks for listening. Peace.